Welcome to Cretoni Entertainment. I'm Chris.
And I'm Brie.
And Brie made a margarita without me.
I didn't. It's a passion orange drink from the Asian market.
Anyway, welcome back to Marvel Crisis Paintocol with Chris and Brie in the primetime America. Woo!
Woo!
Today we're painting Doc Ock. As usual, primed him with our 2X Krylon matte perfect gray.
Which is just getting harder and harder to find.
It's getting harder and harder to say. I keep forgetting the words. Anyway, we're painting Doc Ock in the classic, like 1960s, 1970s comic book style, and that means relatively bright green. So, again, we're using nothing but Vallejo paints. We started with this kind of mid-tone Vallejo green that, of course, I've forgotten the name of, but that doesn't really matter that much because this series is not about what color paint I actually did it in. Except I think it was light green. I think that's the highlight. I don't know what color I did this in. It doesn't matter. That's not what we're here for. We're here for painting it. Intermediate green. That's a
great name.
That's a terrible name. Anyway,
green.
Took a couple of coats of this intermediate green. We got all the areas that are going to be green. We try not to bleed over too much in this series. We try to be relatively careful because we don't want colors like this green making it harder for the yellow to go on. Then we took the light green, and we're doing kind of this faux highlighting style because we've talked about before. We're doing this in the comic book style. We're not doing this in any sort of realistic tone, or even any sort of traditional miniatures painting tone. This is all comic booky, and again, if you look at old comic books from the 80s and 90s, or even earlier, or if you do what we're doing right now and watch the original 1990s X-Men cartoon with Julian. You'll see these stark faux highlights that they do on everything in all of those to kind of make it look like there's shading.
Words are hard tonight.
Ooh, boy.
We're not drinking. This is sad.
You've got a margarita. I'm looking at it.
It's not a margarita.
Looks an awful lot like a margarita. Anyway, I'll take a picture of the margarita, send it out to everybody. At any rate, ready to lose all our followers? Here we go. We're watching the 1990s X-Men cartoon with our son.
Yes, we are.
It's not very good. It's not. You know it's not.
It's not. It's gloriously bad.
It's ridiculously bad.
Yeah, it is.
It's entertaining to watch.
Yes.
And he is super engaged.
Yes.
It is not good.
It's not. We were... I mean, it was bad enough that time we went back and decided to watch the old She-Ra and He-Man stuff.
Oh my god, that's bad too. So anyway, we're jumping into the next color, which for Doc Ock is the yellows. And I do believe for the yellows, I started with, I don't know, a Vallejo yellow. Why did I tape the colors? This is Vallejo model color golden yellow. Again, a slightly darker edge of the mid yellows is where you're starting because you want a pretty bright yellow. So you want kind of a mid yellow to be beneath it to create this faux highlighting. This is going to look bad all the way until the final step. That's what I'm noticing about this style.
Yeah.
This style looks bad all the way to the final step.
You don't even want to take a whip shot really of this because you're like, nope.
No, it looks terrible to the final step. So I have to say terrible at least once per video. I'm contractually obligated with myself.
Is that what you guys were arguing about the other day?
The board at Cretoni Entertainment has decreed that I must say terrible at least once per episode.
It was Chris mostly yelling into a mirror. I didn't understand.
So the X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
The plots go at such a railroad that there's not even time. God. There's not even time for transitions.
No.
And as we mentioned before in the pilot episode, there is a African American soldier who turns white with orange hair in the matter of about 6 seconds. Yeah. It's a huge animation glitch. It's a big problem.
Did you hear the aside that was put today?
Did I hear?
In the episode we were watching today.
Well,
the one we watched today.
No, I missed it.
So. Because you got
to go quick there. About to change colors.
They came home to the X-Mansion being destroyed, right?
Yes.
Apparently, there was a brief aside saying, "Oh, look what Juggernaut did."
Well, wait. There's an episode where we meet Juggernaut for the first time. I think.
Apparently.
Anyway,
there you go.
Here's the unpopular opinion. There are a lot of... So this is the
look,
moon
you
yellow.
said this one.
I did this one. This is the moon yellow for the game color. And again, we're doing the same thing we did on the green. We're just doing very...
extreme highlights.
Well, not even... I don't call it highlighting. We're just slapping a color and leaving some yellow beneath.
I mean, okay.
I can't even really call it a highlight the way it goes on. You're focusing on the top areas, not the bottoms. There's so much in modern kids shows that's just far superior to the kids shows we watched when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
We refuse to see it because we've got the nostalgia bug. So there we go. There's my unpopular opinion.
No.
It's not going to go well.
It's and I always say to the people who are like, no, but it's perfect, go back and watch it.
It's not perfect. It's far.
Not.
There are a lot of flaws. In fact, even in the sacrosanct Batman the Animated Series from the 90s, there are actually a lot of flaws. It's still good. Our kid still loves it, but it's also really bad.
Yeah, you and I have actually enjoyed a lot of it too. So we can't say
Mask of the Phantasm still holds up as the greatest Batman.
Yeah, and you got to stop trying to show that to our 7-year-old because that is fantastic. Not.
It's fantastic.
We shouldn't have watched that at that age.
It's time for Doc Ock to show some skin.
Ooh, Doc Ock's got some skin.
Vallejo model color, basic skin tone. He's not showing much skin.
It's
just his science face.
He bought this fabulous green and yellow outfit. Would you not want to show it off?
Wood grain.
I love this color.
We bought this color a long time ago. Doc Ock has dark brown hair in the comics.
Yes, he does.
We're giving him dark brown hair. That's it. I mean, this is such an easy technique because the real kicker
is the
final step.
Yeah.
The same like we did with Spider-Man, but you're going to see it because this is our second episode of this.
I forget how bad Doc Ock's hair is on.
It's 70s science guy hair.
No, it's not. It's like Mo decided to give himself a haircut.
Yeah, Doc Ock is a combination of Mo and John Goodman.
Oh, that's so bad.
So I don't know why I did this neutral gray on everything right now, but if we said it with Spider-Man, there are no metallics in the comic book style,
right?
Because you just didn't use that. There wasn't a metallic ink. It didn't exist in the 60s, 70s, 80s, that range that we're kind of replicating here. So we're going to do a lot of really basic layering
to do the non-metallic.
Well, I don't want to call it non-metallic because non-metallic is a very specific technique.
Right.
It's a technique that I'm going to be outright and say I cannot replicate. I have never taken the time to truly learn how to do it appropriately. I'm sure I could with enough practice. I don't care enough.
Yeah.
Non-metallic metal, of course, being a technique where you use non-metallic colors to replicate a metal effect by imitating object source lighting. Here's where the light's coming from. Here's how it would reflect. We're doing the poor man's version of that with our comic book styling because even a comic book is not going out of its way to make its metals look overly metal.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a poor man's version of it with extreme levels of our, for lack of a better phrase, our non-metallic painting.
That's really complicated.
I know.
I'm already confused.
We're
putting on the paint and it's gonna make it look pretty.
Putting on the Ritz. Anyway.
What? No.
What?
Oh God, we should be drinking.
So his whole pack and his armor-majiggers here are going to go ahead and get this neutral gray.
Do they have a name?
Armor-majiggers.
That's not
they
it.
They do. That's Inky, Pinky, Blinky, and Sue.
Wow. And there were like a bunch of people who were born in the 90s who were like, I don't get that joke. I don't understand. Who are they?
Wow. I mean, we're just alienating everybody right now. I just said the X-Men cartoon was not that great. You just absolutely turned everybody born in the 90s into a Valley Girl. So anyway, the neutral gray, we did it on the base as well. We left the manhole and the grate open. Then we mixed this with the light gray that we've got.
Yeah.
And the neutral. This is for no other reason than I didn't have another gray. And I didn't feel like stopping at a game store so close to Thanksgiving and trying to figure that all out. I'm worried about Thanksgiving. So what we did is I mixed some of the light gray with the neutral gray. You can easily get a shade in between your two grays to do this. The mixing ratio does not matter. And I'm just kind of most of the upper half of the arms. Just kind of putting this on most of the other half. I'd say I probably left 55 to 60% of the bottom is that darker gray, and then the 40 to 45% of the top is this lighter gray.
Yeah.
There's not really a particular method to my madness. On some of these arms that kind of flip over themselves, like these top ones.
Mm-hmm. You just follow the curvature of the arm?
Well, I follow the curvature of the arm, but I also follow the curvature, like right here on this one we're working on now, there's actually a split where I have the gray in two different spots. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
You'll see it better when we do the final inking stage.
Yeah.
But you kind of get the idea of I want to leave anywhere that the light wouldn't be coming directly down on is the darker gray. And then we go to the straight light gray, and this just goes on top of that mixed tone we did. And again, you're leaving a sliver of the mixed tone visible. So now you can see that the bottom of it is most of the neutral gray, and then you see a sliver of that mix, and now you're seeing the brighter gray on top. And that's all we're doing here is we're building up his arms to kind of create this look.
Which always is amazing to me. I'm just speaking of built-up arms. Doc Ock is jacked.
Well, he's got Brooklyn bulges.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Doc Ock is kind of jacked for a guy.
Jocked.
Jocked.
Oh, Jacques. I am Jacques. Oh, wow. Now we are fans of the French.
For a guy who relies on robotic arms.
I mean, maybe it's really heavy to put the pack on his back.
Okay. I'll give you that. And maybe it was working on them. They're super heavy, so when he was building them...
Could you imagine going to the bathroom in this thing?
It would forever be the stranger. Oh, that was inappropriate. I apologize.
Oh, wow. Quit jerking back around.
And by the way, going back to Chris's comment about Thanksgiving coming up, and I'm thinking about Thanksgiving, that is because Chris has gone insane.
Oh, yeah, this video is coming out the day before Thanksgiving, just FYI. So now we're going to go to this Glacier Blue that we used for Spider-Man's eye lenses. Here's the other thing. So if you're following the Crisis Protocol series, you're going to see a lot of the colors try to get used across the spectrum. I don't think you need a good size palette of colors to do superheroes, but you don't need a huge one. And things like this Glacier Blue,
they're going to be everywhere. They're gonna be able to fill in.
Yeah, there's my yawn button. You did a little better that time.
Thank you.
The yawn was a little more audible. So this Glacier Blue goes on top of the light gray, and then a little bit of the dead white. Dead white
is one of my favorite colors.
The dead white's where we get a little more specific. I'm doing like little diagonal streaks just across the top of each individual tentacle segment, or the top of each segment that's going to be exposed to the light. So you see on like where my bracing finger is there on the left hand side of the frame.
Yeah.
That one actually you can kind of see where the curvature shade creates.
Yes.
So it kind of splits off. But anywhere you have this Glacier Blue, which is really more of a gray, we're just going to do this little topping of this. Just this little topping of this white.
What did you put on the...
What just happened?
What did you put on
I think something might be out of order and I'm bad at editing.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, we got a problem. We got a problem. Hold, please. Oh, yeah, we lost some video here. I don't know where it went. You didn't miss out on much. I just took a black gray from Vallejo, and I painted the manhole cover in the gray with the black gray, and then I took that neutral gray and all those little hashes on the manhole cover.
Right.
I did those with the neutral gray.
Right.
And then I took that parasite brown we used on Spider-Man and just kind of dotted it a little bit to create like a rusty effect. I don't know what happened to that video clip. It's got to be somewhere. I don't know where it went. I think I'm also missing one for Sabretooth. I got to find that. Fortunately, it's the very first one, so it's easy to kind of skip that step. So anyway, we got the Liquitex acrylic black ink.
And now we're just drawing in all the lines.
And I bet the next clip that pops up is the one where we do the manhole cover.
Oh, that'll be so glorious. I'm not
flipping it back around.
Oh my God.
Scrutoni Entertainment is not a professional YouTube channel thing.
Wow.
So anyway, this black ink is everywhere we want to make a difference, a obvious line. So you see we did it on the kind of the cracks of the sidewalk there. On his pants, he's got some texture, so we're kind of drawing it in. We're doing it on the extreme undersides of all the tentacles. Each individual tentacle segment we went through, and I did this black ink between each and every single one of them. And this is where Doc Ock is going to go from looking like a terrible mass of undefined colors and start looking like he jumped off the pages of a comic book. And the effect is just really cool.
It's so cool.
Like, I've never done this style before these boxes of minis, and I'm having a ton of fun with this style. It is easy. It is forgiving. You can make a lot of mistakes and still have a great-looking miniature by the time you're done. And I love these tentacles. I really like how these turned out. But again, we're just kind of aggressively going through and inking anywhere we think would look kind of cool. Anywhere there's a join, like where his arms are touching his body, let's get some under there. I did some directly under his arms where there'd be shadowing in a comic book there. And this is kind of what we came up with.
It looks so awesome.
So again, those thick black lines and like on the flat asphalt area there, I just put some streaks over there to create artificial texture, just like we did on the Spider-Man video. And then we pull out this purple we've been using that I'm basing all the Crisis Protocol guys in, because I figure good guys are blue, bad guys are red, and you can mix them both in this game. So let's do these nice purple bases. Plus, it's a striking color. It kind of really adds to all the brightness we've got going on. And you get a really cool Doc Ock who's missing a video footage. That step does itself, apparently.
That's cool. That's real convenient.
I know, right? But there we go. Doc Ock, the black lining makes all the difference in the world. He's all put together. He's ready to enjoy your team. I enjoy Doc Ock as a character in the game. It's fun to throw crap with him. Like and subscribe for more content. Hit that bell button for notification. And we'll see you next week with more Marvel Crisis Paintocol.
Bye!